You don't work for Todd Blanche or
No,
Donald Trump.
I don't even know
as far
him.
as I know.
You don't work for Tim Walz, as far as I know.
You don't have to defend things, even when you can't figure out what the defense is. Because to me,
I'm not defending
if you're
what
gonna,
happened in the room,
so none
but
of
we'll
those,
see.
none of those are threats.
Okay.
Look here.
Again,
listen.
You're welcome
mean,
to just say things out loud and speak them into the air and hope and pray that that's what happens.
Hey,
and maybe
listen,
it will, but I don't know.
But when it's obvious, it's obvious.
Just hold on,
The
Scott.
point of view of the federal
I'm just
government
trying to
might
understand what the point of view is. I'm still listening. What else do you got?
They have said we're on the third day of Gettysburg at one point.
He did not say that either. Okay, sorry, but he didn't say that. Jacob Fry has said.
One is a misdemeanor. Hitting someone with a car.
That's not what you're talking about, Scott. We're not talking about
What about parking your car perpendicular on the road? What about parking your car perpendicular on a one-way street?
Yeah, that's not harassment. Sorry, that's
No,
not how the
I'm
law
asking you,
works.
is that
The audience can look at it. He didn't. He said what he's been told.
But
it's not about what I'd like, but I think of the liars at the table. I'm probably not in that category. And I'm also not a cult member where I regurgitate every talking point from the GOP.
Show you the transcript and the
Okay, great. But Christians and all the people who followed Mr. President 2 Corinthians into the voting booth, I just really want to know, what Jesus are you serving that's looking at this right now?
Okay. And if you can't do it, then you can't do it. That's the end of the story.
You're right.
All right.
This
so
story shouldn't even exist. You're right. Let's do something.
Well, Scott,
That
I'll let you say that. I won't say that, but I'll let you say that.
We'll just wave it away.
Hello, everybody. Guys, we got a special one for you. We got the human platypus stepping out of the pond for us. Along with Scott, I think we're alone now. Jennings, Tiffany reference? Never mind. Let's get into this segment and we'll talk about it.
Escalation in the chaos involving ICE on American streets. The Justice Department is opening a criminal investigation into Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz and the mayor of Minneapolis over possible obstruction of federal law enforcement. Now, a grand jury has issued subpoenas for both of them. Walz calls it dangerous, authoritarian, and a weaponization of the justice system. He says that the only investigation should be into the agent who shot Renee Good. Now, Jacob Fry, the mayor, says that it's just an intimidation stunt. Also breaking tonight, a federal judge has ordered ICE to stop some of its tactics on the ground in Minneapolis. She wrote that ICE agents cannot retaliate, arrest, or detain people who are engaging in peaceful, unobstructive protests. They can't use pepper spray to disperse crowds in those peaceful protests, and they also can't stop or detain drivers in vehicles where there's no reasonable suspicion that they are forcibly obstructing or interfering with operations. Now, she also made it clear that following ICE at an appropriate distance is not considered reasonable suspicion. So a lot going on the ground in Minneapolis, and you're seeing, Stacey Schneider, an acceleration of the Trump administration using or attempting to use the levers of the Justice Department to what seems to be punish speech of the governor and the mayor.
Yes, it looks like lawfare against politicians now who are running Minnesota. And there's a federal statute that the government will likely invoke here, which says that if 2 or more people conspire to impede law enforcement efforts using force, threat, or coercion, that is a crime. Now, we've all seen the statements made by Fry and by Walsh publicly about what's going on in their state and cities, and none of it is evidence of threat or coercion toward ICE. Basically, Fry said that crass statement to ICE, get the F out of here. That's not a threat. That's not an illegal statement or indicia of a criminal statement. Without more, if he said, we're going to hurt you, ICE, we're going to go after you, I'm going to shoot you, that's a threat. But just saying, get out of my backyard is no threat. And Governor Walsh saying people should protest peacefully, loudly, go ahead, protest, take pictures of what ICE is doing, videotape them, act as witnesses, but do it peacefully. None of that. That's all appropriate speech. It's First Amendment protected speech. And for the federal government to go after these 2 officials for saying words like that is abominable.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, the 2 events that are happening tonight, the DOJ's actions and this judge's ruling, which seems to reinforce that people do have a right to record. They can actually be following ICE agents, recording them as long as they're not breaking any traffic laws, they're following at a safe distance. They're basically saying that is okay. And so for DOJ to then try to, it seems, criminalize that, how are they going to substantiate charges against these two men?
Well, I mean, that's a great speech. We don't know exactly what they're being investigated for. We have very few details about this. Based on what I've heard, there are conversations potentially going on with a grand jury in Minneapolis. And look, based on their public statements, it's pretty clear that, and based on the statements of officials at DOJ, it's pretty clear there is concern that these two guys have used their positions and their public statements to try to obstruct the execution of federal laws. Now, whether that rises to a crime, I don't know.
Give me an example?
Yeah,
An
where's
example?
that clarity?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think they've both made numerous public statements that have made it perfectly clear that they do not want federal laws to be enforced in
Such
Minnesota,
as?
and that they flatly said they don't want ICE there enforcing federal immigration laws. They
That's not
both
what they
said
said.
that. They have literally
That's
both
not-
said,
that's not what they
ICE,
said.
leave Minnesota. In
yeah,
fact, Tim
and-
Walz
and-
said we're on the third day of Gettysburg at one point.
He did not say that either. Okay, sorry, but he didn't say that. Jacob Fry has.
Scott is really stuck on stupid. I mean, look at him. How does anyone take him seriously? Like, Tim Walz obviously didn't say that, hence why his stupid face is stuck like this. Abby asked Scott to clarify. He literally just clarified by saying the same exact thing with slightly different wording. Like, does he practice this stuff in the mirror? He's like an effing robot. Them saying get the F out of our city is in their First Amendment right to say so. Just like Scott when Trump said Somalis are garbage. Right, Scott? First Amendment right? It's not in order to obstruct or do anything to ICE. But Trump sending 2,000 troops into Minnesota because of Timu, Charlie Kirk, Nick Shirley, and his fake fraud video of on social media. Now that's a direct action, Scott. God, wrong. And like all this shit again, it's just meant to distract from Trump's disaster economy that supposedly prices were gonna come down on day one. Mr. Peace and Harmony now has taken over a country, removed its leader, and threatening now to take over Greenland, an effing ally to ours. And where the F are the Epstein files? Like, all of this is just always just racist red meat for Republicans to chew on as a distraction. And it's hook, line, and sinker every single damn time. Republicans are just dumbass fish, getting always caught with the same bait over and over.
Said, we want ICE to get out of our city. We don't want, we don't oppose ICE enforcing immigration law. We don't want them in the city in the numbers that they are in the city. That's what
Okay,
he's
listen,
talking
I know
about.
they have great
So
lawyers here at the table.
Look,
I'm
I'm
just telling
asking
you-
about real, really, if they're going to pursue criminal charges.
That's not what's been reported.
Against, okay, so what is the subpoena for?
That's not what's
Why
been
is the
reported.
grand jury investigating
What's
them?
been
If-
reported
listen,
is that there's a
subpoena.
preliminary investigation.
That's
No
what
criminal charges have been brought against them.
Yeah, it's an investigation in order to bring charges.
To find out if charges are
listen,
warranted.
If I said if they bring criminal charges, my question is, what for? What for? And if
Obstruction.
and then secondly, is this risking this administration doubling down on something that is deeply unpopular in this country?
What should be deeply unpopular are the agitators who are trying to harass and intimidate ICE. On this very network during the 4 p.m. Eastern hour, a reporter was on the ground in Minneapolis, and he was explaining what he has seen with his own eyes, that during the day, yes, peaceful protesters exercising their First Amendment right. But what happens when the sun goes down? A new group of people, younger, come out, and in his words, are
Turn into
agitators. They are standing outside a federal facility where ICE agents are going to start their work or finish their work for the day, and these agitators are kicking the cars, hitting the cars, trying to cause problems. And we're not focused on that. Yes, there have been issues with peaceful protesters. I would ask, though, the judge, and perhaps, Stacey, you can explain this, what exactly defines peaceful? Like, where's the line? And where's the line for harassment and intimidation when it comes to following ICE around? Because at some point, a line is crossed.
So I don't really see the line being crossed here unless someone took a physical hand to an ICE agent or
What about a
damaged
physical car?
property.
They
Well,
didn't
okay,
take
so
it
you know
physically.
what?
What about a physical
That's
car?
a misdemeanor offense for potential
Running
damage
over
to
someone is a
property.
misdemeanor. Hitting someone with a car.
Run over.
That, you
He
know
had
that's
internal
not what
bleeding?
we're talking about, Scott. We're not talking
All
about
right.
someone getting
What about
run over.
parking your car
We're talking about
perpendicular in the road?
harassment.
What about parking your
First-
car perpendicular on a one-way
right.
street?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
not harassment. Sorry, that's
No,
not how the
I'm
law
asking you,
works.
is that peaceful protesting to block traffic with your car on a one-way
No,
street
that's
and then
not
hit an ICE
protesting.
agent?
That's being stopped by a law enforcement officer and making a decision whether to proceed or flee.
All right, go ahead.
I
Totally
hope you're
different
not. I
issue.
hope you're not
Totally different
recommending
issue.
people do that because that's how people
I'm
get
glad
hurt.
you're hoping that.
I think this whole thing
Oh, she got him. And what is with this running over crap? Like, do these people know what that word means? To run over someone? Like, we have eyes. He walked right off completely fine. Not a limp, nothing. The exaggeration on some of these things is just so embarrassing to me. Again, how anyone, Republicans, I would feel insulted that people would think I'm so stupid, that these pundits would think I'm so stupid to be fooled so easily. And again, minor obstruction of a car does not call for punishment by death or shoving people on the floor, pepper spraying them.
is horrible for what we're seeing for our democracy, for what we've seen with federal agents, and a lot of people saying, I can't believe this is happening in our country. For all the thing that it's horrible for, I'm torn with something because me and Tiff were talking in the back. I don't want to put our stories out there, but people are literally dying. Folks are out there literally hiding in closets. But as a Democratic consultant, I'm also like, man, they cannot get out of their own way because people who are swing voters, folks who aren't MAGA, folks who aren't Bernie Sanders, but regular folks sitting on their couch at home know that this is crazy to be happening in America. You can give a little blame to either side, do whatever, both sides of things y'all you want, but we all know this shit ain't right.
Can I just ask, just to clarify, what is the part that people think is crazy?
78% of folks that we have polled, and this station has polled, had seen that video. And unlike Scott, they don't think that he was hit by a car, and they think that that woman was unlawfully, whether she was or not,
82%.
they think she was unlawfully killed.
Understood. All right.
They believe their eyes and their ears. But I just also want to correct something. A complete misrepresentation of what the reporter you were referencing, Shimon, was on ground in Minneapolis. And I saw the stand-up he did in the 4 p.m. Eastern hour. He absolutely did not say what you suggested he did. He was saying what he had been told. He's been on the ground
No,
bearing
he
witness.
said, I have
He
seen
didn't.
this,
The audience
and he
can
used
look
the
at
word
it. He
agitators.
didn't. He said
You
that
may
he
not
said what
like
he's
that,
been
Tiffany,
told.
but it
It's not
happened.
about what I'd like, but I think of the liars at the table. I'm probably not in that category. And I'm also not a cult member where I regurgitate every talking point
Gladly
from the
we'll
GOP.
show you the transcript in the commercial
Okay,
break.
great. But the point is,
I tried looking it up. I couldn't find it. But I'm with Tiffany. Who are you going to believe here? Like MAGA, Republican, cultists? Like these people lie for a living. Can't trust anything these assholes say.
he was saying what he had been told on ground in Minneapolis. But even that aside, Pete, I mean, we're still dealing with an agency that has been told that they can kill people with immunity. The President of the United States has essentially given them permission to act unhinged. Last year was the deadliest year for people in custody of ICE agents. 32 people have died. So for all of these purported Christians and all the people who followed Mr. President 2 Corinthians into the voting booth, I just really want to know, what Jesus are you serving that's looking at this right now that's saying that's okay? It is not. It is hypocrisy for you to sit here and try to, for anyone, not just you, for anyone to sit here and try to justify that. What's more concerning, look, with all due respect to the law, I'm concerned that the judiciary will hold the line for what's happening in the country. Right now, ICE has contracts for up to $25 million worth of contracts where they will have an array of spy tools and utensils, things that are like facial recognition, social media tracking, phone hacking, and the federal government has said they will use these tools for people they claim are domestic terrorists, just as they claim with Renee Nicole Good. How terrifying is that? So if you're a peaceful protester, if you're an agitating protester, they can start using this technology on its own people.
And you know what's crazy? The administration.
But I definitely want to jump on this issue, and I wish that what Tiffany did there was much more done more often to Republicans. Use their beliefs against them. In my views, guys, I've said it before, I'm agnostic. I have no skin in the game. Republicans aren't really Christians. I know they like to say they are every chance they get, but in my belief, they just say that so that it can make it seem like the sick things that they are for and how sick in the head they are. As you may think, we aren't as evil. Look, I have a cross on my neck. I can't be that sick, right? Right? I'm not racist. I'm not a bigot. I'm not cruel. Look, I have a cross. And like, we're good people, right? Real Christians, guys. Real Christians are decent people. You can't, in my view, be a Christian and support Trump. In my eyes, the moral disparity just, it doesn't connect. You cannot be a bigot, guys, and also be a Christian. It just doesn't make any sense. You can go to the church, read the Bible all you want, but it doesn't make you Christian, does it? Like, think about it logically. One must live by those words. Where does it say to treat people as if they're subhuman based on their skin color or something else your dumbass hates? You blasphemous pieces of garbage. Like, where does it say that in the Bible? Like, these fools think that just because they tell themselves every night they're a Christian and have a cross and a Bible, that they are. Okay, guys, I'm going to wear 10 crosses and I'll even be more Christian than you. Like, effing idiots. It completely, you guys go, everything goes completely against what Jesus would do. I mean, he would smite you guys with thunderbolts if he could. For how you people think of people who may be different than you one way or another. Wait a second, that's Zeus. Zeus is the one with the thunderbolts. I'm sure Jesus could get Zeus to let him borrow a thunderbolt or two. Zeus would be like, wait, who's the target down there? Oh, Scott Jennings? Yeah, he's a few more thunderbolts. In fact, I'll help.
Administration is calling domestic terrorists, applying that name to protesters. Or you can call them agitators, screamers, yellers, people voicing their opinion under the First Amendment that they're not happy with the actions of the government. And the ironic thing is, if they have this facial technology, and any one of us is subject to that facial technology by being on a public street, why not use that in your enforcement of the immigration laws and rules to find illegal immigrants, rather than using it against the American people who are engaging in their First Amendment right to protest?
I think they may very well be doing both, but
they're not signaling that they're doing both?
But I do wonder, I mean, on the facial recognition piece and the surveillance piece,
so insane.
I feel like there was a time when conservatives would have been completely up in arms about that. They would have been, just like they were up in arms about, you know, the Patriot Act and that era of surveillance that really actually was not supposed to have ever been applied to Americans. Why is it that it's okay now for an agency that is supposed to be charged with dealing with undocumented immigrants or immigration in general can now use that technology on Americans and there's no check and balance on it?
What I find so interesting about it is it's been utilized 100,000 times, according to the Wall Street Journal story today. And yet this is really the first time we're hearing about it. There was a story in a much smaller outlet back in June.
I mean, people have been talking about it, but it hasn't
the reason why,
risen
Abby, is
to.
because it's working.
What do you mean?
It's because we don't cover things unless they go haywire.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
It's doing its job.
I don't agree with that.
It's ensuring that we identify people and make sure that they are who they say they are, and ensure that they aren't U.S. citizens.
I don't think that's the reason
and it's
that
also
it hasn't
because we
been
have
talked
facial
about.
recognition
I think
everywhere
that,
we go.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's the reason, okay? I think the reason that we had not been talking about it is because a lot of these contracts are relatively new, and it takes a while for us to see how they're being utilized. But the question remains, are you comfortable with a federal agency with the widespread use of technologies like facial recognition technologies, surveillance technologies being used against Americans? Are you comfortable with that?
I have no reason to be against it at this point. And as I was trying to say, we are used to this. I used facial recognition technology this morning flying here from Indiana to get into the pre-check line.
It's a good,
Disneyland took my picture last Saturday to get in
But the disclaimer at the airport when you do go to the airport is that you can actually decline to have your face utilized.
Right.
And if you can do that as an American citizen. So that's that. But look, I do want to play. Todd Blanche was.
That's so creepy. That's like, is that like Born Identity? One of those movies. It's so creepy to be able to do that to people. Talk about surveillance state. This is what Republicans have been bitching about with Democrats. That we're trying. I don't know what the hell they were talking about. We were surveilling Trump and Republicans or whatever. It's just insane to me that now they're completely for it because it's primarily to go after the people they dislike. Of course, the hypocrisy it's cultish behavior. That's it. Whatever Trump says, they just go for it. And again, what people are pissed about is the tactics, the racial profiling. Everyone knows that, and like these people try to ignore it and tries to ram their own same old talking points. And like, don't let these people, I mentioned this before, don't let these people forget why we're here in the first place. And this keeps getting lost in the sauce. All because of Nick Shirley and that fake fraud video he made that got Republicans all horny about harassing brown people. An all-time favorite for conservatives again. Trump then calls them garbage. They should be removed from the country. And why can't we have good people from Hungary? Literally what he said. Then ICE comes in. Renee Gooden gets shot in the face. Like, do you see what I mean about how their bigotry is so foundational to their movement that they will, it branches off. It's the nucleus. It's the family tree that branches off to different endeavors like ICE or going after DI and woke or colleges because of education and they hate it. I don't know. Can't you see that it's always centered around some form of bigotry? It's because it's all they have, guys. They have no policy, no desire to make everyday people's lives better. It's to distract those people and scare the living crap out of them. That's why I focus so much on it and try to show people that it's all connected to it, right? They scared their people with lies about different groups of people, literally scare them into voting for them. That's why I call Republicans at their core to be a conservative is to be so damn scared and anxious and nervous about every single thing, everyone, and your existential existence always at clinging. Like, you're always so damn scared and nervous. Like, shut up already. Everything's such a threat to you. Like, shut the F up. Stop crying already, putos. I have negative empathy for you.
I think he was in Minneapolis today. Let me play what he said about what I guess they might be looking at when it comes to the governor and the mayor. Listen.
When the governor or the mayor threaten our officers, when the mayor suggests that he's encouraging citizens to call 911 when they see ICE officers, that is very close to a federal crime.
So, first of all, I should say,
what the fuck is he talking about?
What he just said is not actually what Mayor Fry said. So I know this is a running theme, but there's just been a lot of taking things completely out of their appropriate context. He was actually saying what Mayor Fry was saying was that Minneapolis residents are calling 911 when they encounter ICE, and that the Minneapolis Police Department cannot respond to all those calls because they don't have the manpower. But you were saying.
Right. Well, for Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, to say that Tim Walsh and Mayor Fry are threatening he has a duty not to make statements like that. That is not true. He knows that's not true. We've all seen the video. It's public knowledge what they have said. They have not made any threats under the law. Their speech was not even close to being threatening. And to have the Deputy Attorney General make a statement like that is horrible. Todd Blanche also, a few days ago, tweeted that he had his eyes on Walsh.
Look how depressed God looks. He's such a little child.
And Fry, and he was looking for them, and he was calling them domestic terrorists. This is not American.
This is not
that is not the way he should be.
This is not a threat. It's a promise. He says.
It's a promise.
But to Stacey's point, where are the alleged threats from the mayor and the governor toward federal officials? Do they exist?
Yeah, look, I think they've made statements that you could reasonably consider to be threats toward ICE agents, and they're gonna take these statements to a grand jury. Abby, they've made plenty of comments that indicate these people we're under federal occupation. We're under federal occupation.
Is that a threat?
It sounds like a threat to me, but we'll see what a grand jury wants to do.
That is not a threat.
That's your opinion. I've got a different opinion. We'll see what a grand jury.
Those words are opinion words.
Those are not
threats. They are purely opinion.
He might be wrong. It might be inappropriate, but it's not.
I mean, if you want to move to Minneapolis and take up for these guys, go ahead. I'm just telling you what the point of view of the federal government might be. I'm just trying to understand what the point of view is. I'm still listening. What else do you got? They have made numerous statements, Abby, over and over and over again, that they don't think ICE should be in Minneapolis, that they don't think federal immigration laws should be enforced, that they think law enforcement has been put in danger by incitement. That's their view, and they're going to take that to a grand jury. So I don't know what's going to happen in the room, but we'll see.
None of those are threats. Look, here, listen.
You're welcome to just say things out loud and speak them into the air and hope and pray that that's what happens. And maybe it will, but I don't know.
When it's obvious, it's obvious.
Just listen.
For anyone to say that.
This is not something. You don't work for Todd Blanche or Donald Trump.
I don't even know.
As far as I know.
And you don't work for Tim Walz, as far as I know.
You don't have to defend things, even when you can't figure out what the defense is. Because to me,
I'm not defending
if you're going to open
not
an
defending, I'm just
investigation
explaining
into
what they
someone,
think.
But you can't
a criminal
substantiate your
investigation, and
points,
you
guys.
can't even point to me. If we're talking about words, you ought to be able to just point on plain paper, what are the threats, okay? And if you can't do it,
Look at him.
then you can't do it. That's the end
You're
of the
right.
story.
You're right.
All right,
This
so
story
we're
shouldn't
gonna-
even exist.
we're-
You're right. Let's do something
Well,
else.
Scott,
That
I'll let
is
you
so
say. I'll let you say that. I
Let's do
won't say
something
that, but I'll
else.
let you say
We'll just wave it away.
We're gonna hit pause, and we're gonna continue this debate.
He's so effing embarrassing. Look how he pouts like a little petulant child, all because he got cornered. And what did he say? Now the show shouldn't exist because he was humiliated and cornered? Like, what a effing joke. So-called alpha men conservatives are. Ay, pobrecito, that you guys think you're alpha. Keep telling yourself that. Maybe one day you'll become one. Abby is telling you the nicest way she can, Scott, is stop bumping and grinding and touching your toes and doing full splits on Trump. Literally all over the internet. This is what Scott Jennings is known for. Like, what a sad, sad existence. It looked like at one point he was staring off to his sad future. Like, Scott, aren't you married? How does she feel about this? I think even Trump at times has to be like, come on, Papi, get off of me. You're way too much, loco. I don't know why I did the accent. But Trump, again, just like he threatened Maine to send troops over there because she pushed back on him, it's just always retribution with these people. He feels disrespected, so he throws a tantrum, just like Scott there. He tells Abby to go live in Minnesota if you want to defend it. Like, what the hell are you talking about? All she's asking for you is to clarify on what are the threats. And for them to say, oh, I think this about ICE, or I think this, they're allowed to say that. Aren't you assholes always talking about First Amendment, right? Like, I ask people out there, how does any of this going to help with affordability, healthcare costs? Or does it sound to you like this is much more of a distraction? Republicans are mainly talking to you dumbasses because you guys fall for everything. But hey, have at it if this is what you want. The world gets to see what happens when Republicans are in full control. The House, the Senate, the presidency, the Supreme Court. Let's see how much people's lives get better as they get rid of immigrants, right? Any day now, people's lives, your paychecks are going to start skyrocketing, right? Inflation is going to drop like a rock, right? Maybe the Doge checks are finally on its way too, right? Check that mailbox, effing idiots. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please leave a like, subscribe. Really helps the channel, really helps push the message out there. And I'll catch you in the next one.